High top sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Water bringing fire, cowboy tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's high top sports, baby.
Let's get it. Let's go. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Sports. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there. We're going to have a fantastic week. We have a great show in store for you today. If you didn't hear us talk about it last night, we have a special guest, our first guest on the morning show. I don't know why anyone want to join this madness in the morning, but we appreciate it. Seth Faulkner is joining us today to give us an ultimate breakdown of what Buster Faulkner, can bring to this offense. So Cody went off on his own and went to class, right? School was in session, had his own little one-on-one time with Seth, calls me, goes, this is incredible. This is going to be the best thing ever. This offense is going to be awesome. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I just had to tell Seth. I got the whole inside scoop. I was like, well, why are we keeping this away from people? Let's show everybody. So tonight we bring you Cody the Prof and Mr. Seth Faulkner. Seth, welcome to the show. Welcome to this chaotic morning show. It's chaos, so just buckle up. Okay? I know it seems like a morning should be easy squeezy, but it gets wild on the morning show.
A lot of pressure as a first guest.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or maybe no pressure. I don't know. I guess either way, right?
Yeah, probably no pressure at all.
Probably no pressure, yeah.
Yeah, if you count our beer reviews as those guests, then you're not the first guest, okay? So
I'm on the wagon, guys. No beer right now. I'm on the wagon.
Yep.
I'm trying to run a sub 540, okay? In the spring.
Oh, good luck. You might need more than water.
Well, Seth, we really do appreciate you coming on here, man, and we're really excited to pick your brain today. I know you do a phenomenal job breaking down film, and Cody was fired up when he spoke to me about what you saw and what you feel like could happen with this team. So I'll kind of pass it off to you, man. I know obviously we've gone through some times with the Florida Gators. What are you excited about, Buster? Just off rip.
Yeah, no, I think like just the general statement, like if you want to look at like a really wide view of what he does without being like super granular, I think the interesting things about what he does is he does a lot of things that defenses don't like having to defend. So formationally, he does a lot of tough stuff where if I'm a defense, I only have one or two checks for it. Typically, some teams will carry more, but there's not going to be a ton. And so different formations, different personnel groupings, the shifting, the motioning, a lot of it is just things that a defense, when they're going into a week, if they don't see any of that, it's like, great, this is an easy week for us. He throws kind of all of it at you. So it's got to be a very difficult prep. I decided when it looked like he was going to be kind of one of the guys up for the job, I started grabbing some film and I was like, I'm going to break these things down fully, And I finished the first game and it took me like several hours. I'm like, all right, I'm maybe going to do two of these. And I'm going to have to pull back on what I want to do here because it was so difficult to break down. I can't imagine some poor like 23-year-old GA that's having to do this and turn over like 4 games in the span of 4 hours. It's got to be excruciating. So, it's a difficult prep for defenses, and he does a lot of really good stuff schematically as well. But just in general, I think he does a lot of things that make your life hard as a defensive coordinator. So,
I mean, I feel like we always pick on the last regime, but that's what we go off of. That's when we compare and contrast. That's what we have. And compared to the last regime, how was prepping for that offense compared to prepping for this offense?
So yeah, and people killed me a little bit. Like conceptually, like the concepts of the last regime's offense were tried and true, fine. You will even see some of the same concepts in this offense. But What's interesting is when you watch a few games from Buster, like a few full games, you'll see that he's got a different plan kind of each game. And you can kind of see the plan permeate throughout the game. So you'll see, they play Clemson this past season, and you start watching the game, you're like, man, they're calling a lot of like cover 3 1 high beaters. Is Clemson really heavy 1 high? And you go look, oh yeah, Clemson's really heavy 1 high. And they're calling a lot of formation in the boundary and a lot of different stuff like that against Georgia. Does that give that defense? Oh yeah, that gives that defense problems. North Carolina State, they run a lot of crossers and mesh and different stuff. Do they anticipate a lot of man? Oh yeah, North Carolina State runs a lot of man. So they seem to tailor. They have probably like, and this is what you hear like guys like Kirby talk about having a big toolbox and then going and picking things out from it. It seems like Buster's got a big toolbox and then can go each game and kind of be like, all right, this is what this defense does. These are the things that work against that. I think the last regime was a lot more of this is what we do, this is what we're gonna do, and this is how we do it. Where Buster seems to be a little bit more of, okay, well, what gives this defense problems? What do we do that does that? And we'll run that instead of this is what we run this.
That's very interesting. So, and again, I think you make a good point. Like, look, it's not like the last regime because the play calling wasn't always the issues, and I kind of made that claim on here too. Execution was a big factor for them, and you
I thought it was the sequencing of it too.
Never made sense.
Yeah, it didn't always build on each other.
Correct.
They didn't always set something up early to pay it off late. It's just kind of
no
rhythm.
wrinkles.
Yeah.
No wrinkles whatsoever either. It felt like the play sheet was about as big as this gift card. And there was 10 plays on it, and that's what we're gonna run, and that's it.
Yeah. It was tough at times.
Yeah, and so hearing you say that they kind of adjust to the defense's weakness, I love that. And we were talking too, obviously, with Landon Eric Singleton, with Landon, a handful of these guys. Look, you're kind of looking around, and Florida fans were like, man, like, sure, we're probably paying these guys too, but you don't know what to expect headed into this offense. And I was like, you got to wonder how that conversation went. And if I'm a wide receiver and I'm a running back, and I hear that, hey, we're going to make sure that we can exploit every weakness of every defense. And so you may not get your yardage or get your success how you think you're going to get it, but you're going to eat because we're going to find the holes in every single defense. And you don't have success if you're not eating up the holes. We'll still do what we do. We're going to have our own identity, but our part of our identity is exposing that weakness. And so one game you may be able to capitalize a little bit more because they aren't good at crossing the mesh route. And so Singleton and VB3 are going to have themselves a day. And then they cover one guy, like if we're playing like a Clemson type or that single high. All right, Dolly, you better get ready to cook, big fella, because we're setting the whole game up to tear up, to expose this game. So that, in my eyes, is like I see now, okay, well, maybe that's where a part of that pitch was and where they could be excited about Buster.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it that can kind of get a bunch of different guys excited, right, is the way they distribute touches. So there's a ton of handing it off to receivers, throwing screens to the back, putting screens in the run game, different personnel groupings. So, Buster, I think one of the big things you've seen people talk about recently with some of the running backs is, all right, is there going to be two running back personnel? Like, we haven't seen two running back personnel in a long time at Florida. I remember I went to a clinic with Mullen when Mullen first got the job, and I had just been coaching in college, and we were like heavy 12 personnel or 21 personnel, two backs. And so I was asking, all right, how do you guys, because I wanted to know how they game planned and stuff, because I thought that'd be interesting to learn. And, how do you guys game plan? Do you guys go by personnel groupings? Or the guys, it was Brian Johnson. He's like, no, we're only in 11 personnel. We don't plan for anything else. I'm like, okay, all right. So we had the Mullen era where you had guys like you had Pierce and you had like several running backs. You thought, all right, well, these two are in our best 11 on offense. Why aren't they on the field at the same time? And then I think you had that as well at Florida or with Napier the last few years. So I think two of our running backs might be our best offensive players. Why aren't they on the field at the same time? Buster has shown he'll go 20 personnel, go three receivers and two backs. He'll go 21, two backs and one tight end. He'll go 12. He'll go a little 10 personnel with four receivers. And one running back. So that's also, I think, a big selling point as well. Hey, we'll play a variety of personnel. So, hey, all right, there's two backs, but we might play you both at the same time. We'll get you touches. We'll run screens. We'll run RPOs. We'll hand you the ball if you're a receiver. We'll throw you the ball out of the backfield if you're a back. So I think the way they get touches and distribute the ball is also helpful in recruiting as well.
And that's what's going to be huge for this offense. We talked about the addition to Evan Pryor. And I think, again, kind of separate from last time where it felt like we would fake we were going to give it to somebody else, but never actually did. It just was like a whole show. And then everyone kind of realized, yeah, that guy's not getting the ball. It just looks like he's going to get it. And then every so often he would, and they were ready for it. But having that 1-2 punch with Evan Pryor, we saw what he was able to do at Cincinnati and kind of the explosion that he'll bring. It's like, yeah, you want both those guys. We were talking about it. It's like, if both those guys are in the backfield, you're like, oh, shit. If any one of these dudes gets it, one guy averages 7 a clip, the other one's a tank that's going to get 15 a clip if I don't tackle him with 4 dudes. We're in trouble. So now everyone's kind of on their toes. And then you got VB3 and Eric Singleton burning behind you. Like, what are we doing? So that is again, hearing you talk about it, I see why Cody was fired up. You're hearing what you assumed would happen, and it's exciting. So when you talked about the defenses having struggles preparing for it, is it because most offensive coordinators, again, have their identity is what they do versus where Buster's identity seems to be more of adapting than having a go-to play? Is that why it's hard? Because why they're trying to prep for Buster's changing the whole playbook essentially?
Well, I think he's got like his thing. I think what he does a good job of is he has like his base concepts, but he can run them out of pretty much anything. So, and that's kind of that's how things are going in terms of like, especially in the passing game. We have our concepts, we can run them out of any formation. What Buster does is he gets in a lot of like bunches, and I've got some of these on film for later, so we can kind of look at them a little bit more closely. But he'll get in bunches. So typically defenses have like 3 to 4, maybe like 4 or 5 max checks for bunches. So, if I get in a bunch, I'm only going to get a certain type of coverage. And so like he stresses you out in that way where he's going to go bunch and then he's also going to go empty. Well, I only have certain checks for empty. All right. Now, if he adds a little tempo in and then he shifts in motions. Now, like I think the prep time, just charting everything takes a long time, but then getting your players to understand how often the picture can change is what makes it difficult. So it's not kind of a static, all right, they're starting out in this formation. They like to shift this or move this tight end over. If they move that tight end over, they're running this most of the time. He'll start, and there's like the first play of the Georgia game a couple of years ago. They start in a formation, they shift out of it, they motion the tight end, they motion a receiver, they run I think they run counter and pull 2 guys. It's like there's a lot going on there's a lot of moving parts, and you got to sort all that out really quickly on defense. And if you add tempo to it and then speed at the skill positions, Gus Malzahn used to say, and I don't know if he made it up or if he stole it, but when he was kind of the in vogue guy because he brought like the no huddle kind of to the SEC with the run game, his big saying used to be cloudy minds make slow feet. So Buster creates a lot of cloudy minds. So that creates a lot of slow feet. And when you got guys with fast feet, that makes your offense pretty good.
It's firing me up.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just wait till he shows you what he showed me. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wait till he shows you what he showed me.
The cloudy mind thought it fires me up. And so we're gonna see a little tempo too in the swamp. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're being?
I hope so. That's one thing. So I went back and looked. I think I even wrote it down here on a nice little sticky note. So I went back and looked like throughout his career where they ranked in plays per game. So when he was at Arkansas State, they were 3rd in the country in plays per game one year, and he was always kind of in the top. Then he's top 20. He's been a little bit slower at Georgia Tech, but they're not terrible in terms of pace. So. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw some kind of a little bit more tempo here. Which, have we ever seen tempo at Florida? Like real tempo? Like, I don't think so. I think Urban and them kind of wanted to dabble with it Tebow's senior year, but they didn't do it as much. But I don't think we've seen like a consistent, like, hey, we're going to get up tempo.
I'm not like in love with it. Like when Ole Miss does it, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think that it's knowing when to do it and being able to have it in your arsenal.
I think changing the tempo is a big deal.
Yeah.
You can kind of hey, we're going to come out and all right, maybe we're going to huddle. Oh, we get a first down. Now we're going to go really fast.
Yeah.
And then we'll slow it down. Then we'll go fast. I think that because otherwise guys get used to the speed.
If you remember,
even if it's going too fast or too slow, you start to become adapted to whatever they're doing. So again, it's one more thing. It's like, tempo is cool in the sense, but it also can crush your defense if you're just too good at it. So there has to be a nice little – you also want to control the game. I don't think just being able to fly down the field. It's like in my eyes, Florida, we would always get torched by the tempo. I think Tennessee does a pretty good job of being able to have tempo, but then at the same time can just all of a sudden just suck the life out of the game and hand the ball off. Yeah. So Heupel does that very well. Or
Heupel's best year, I think his best offense that I watched, it may not have been statistically his best, was the year that they had the good back Dylan Sampson, because they could go they could go snail's pace to warp speed in the matter of seconds.
Yeah, and I think that's what if you talk to defensive guys, they'll get used to the really fast eventually. But if you can change it up, which I think he can, and then him adding and what they've been able to do at Georgia Tech that was really cool is okay, they weren't crazy high tempo, but there'd be times where they're pretty high tempo, but they're also including the motions and the shifts and that kind of stuff with tempo. So that really makes it difficult when I've got to hurry up and get set. And then now, okay, all right, here's the formation. I've got it. I got the call from the defensive coach. Oh, well, the formation's changed. Oh, well, this guy's in motion. It's changed again. So it could be like 3 or 4 different formation changes happening in like a 10-second span. And I've got to process all this, and the coordinator's got to process that really fast and get his calls in. So, yeah, it could be a weapon if they use it.
Before we dive into you breaking down the film and explaining why Florida's going to go 16-0 and win a national championship this year, we got Seth Faulkner here with us today. Gator Jeremy says, guests like this are why you guys are the best. And, of course, Javi Martha. I don't know why it covers your face. I apologize, Seth. But I want to ask you, because it's going to be a conversation that we have for the next 6 months. It started last night. It'll continue throughout the day, and I'm sure our discussions will change. But Trammell versus Philo is going to be the conversation. And you were just talking about how complex this offense can be. And that was kind of what I've been leaning on with Philo having the advantage of being in the system. I think people are overlooking that. I want to ask you now, do you feel that as a true factor, or maybe I'm looking too much into it and Trammell has the pieces and the tools to truly give Philo a true test here in a battle?
Yeah, so I think like in terms of complexity, a lot of that stuff is complex. I do think Philo's going to have a step up, like a foot up in the competition because he's used to the terminology and all that. I'm sure he'll have a little bit of a lead, but just because of that. But in terms of complexity and things like that, these are things, this is not that difficult to implement on the offensive side. It's something that's really difficult if you have a system and you've done it before, right? It's not that difficult to implement offensively. Like it maybe just adds another word or two to the play call for the quarterback. And he's just got to understand how things time up and things like that. But that's not anything that's like should be totally out of the realm of what these guys have done before. So it doesn't really add, I don't think, that much to the quarterback's plate on that side of it, but it adds a ton to the defense. So it's kind of, that's what's really nice about it is it's not super expensive for the offense to install. Yeah. You just have to have a really good system of understanding how and make sure it's easy for the players to understand. But I think he's got those systems in place. So, it will change. And then you do have to understand how the defensive picture will change. But I think the way they structure the passing game, it's pretty progression based. So they can kind of, if you kind of understand where to start, you can kind of work your way through it. So, I think it'll be a real competition. I do kind of hope, and I'm not a personnel guy, I'm not the GM or anything, but I kind of hope they add like a really athletic guy at quarterback, just as kind of a fail-safe. Would be nice if they're going to add one more guy, because I'd imagine they have to add one more because the quarterback run stuff is so good. It would be nice to have that still as part of the offense. I don't know how much Trammell and Philo are run. I think they're both athletic enough, but that's not like their thing. But it would be nice to have that as kind of a floor. If, something goes wrong and you have an athletic guy at quarterback, like you saw Georgia Tech, Haynes King wasn't a great thrower, but just his ability to run made them really difficult to stop. If you have at worst a guy with some legs that you can just pull off the bench if you need it, I think that would be nice. But it should be a good competition either way, because I think both the guys are talented and the offense is quarterback friendly.
Are you talking kind of Tim Tebow-esque, or his early, was his freshman year when he actually had packages? Or are you talking for the athletic quarterback? Are you talking you have him sitting there and if all things go bad, then you?
I think it could. I think it could be a little bit of both, but I do think it would be a nice, like if I'm putting together the roster, it would be a nice break glass in case of emergency guy to kind of like. I think that's what Ole Miss thought they were getting with Trinidad Chambliss is like, okay, at worst, this guy's a really good athlete that can come in and do some stuff in the quarterback run game, and he ended up being a much better passer, I would imagine, than they anticipated. I don't. Maybe they thought he was going to be that good, but they started somebody else over him, so I don't think so. But I just think kind of the off, and you'll see, like we'll go through really quickly the run game stuff, but the quarterback run game stuff is, I think, not quite the secret sauce. I think there's other things, but it's such a nice little element of the offense that makes it even more. it takes it from like an 8 difficulty to defend to like a 9.5 or 10, just because just because it adds like an extra layer of eye candy and an extra layer of deception and an extra thing for linebackers and defensive backs to have to look at. So I do think it would be nice to keep that element in the offense, but in previous times, Buster was kind of 4 wide receivers ripping the ball around, RPOs and air raids. So I don't know, maybe he wants to go back to that. But I do think the quarterback run element is such a nice part of the offense. It would be nice to have that as an option somewhere on the bench.
Just a little extra seasoning. Yeah, we were wondering if they would go get another guy. And if you just got it, like you said, I mean, I was thinking when you're talking about more of a package deal, but again, a glass break fail-safe system, because if things are rocking and rolling, it sounds like, hell, you can plug me and Cody into quarterback as long as we just follow the rules, this thing's going to work. Yeah. And if you go get a guy that can run the football, it's like, hey, there's still so many options. I don't need you to be able to be a world pass thrower, but be able to get the ball off if need be. But your feet and everyone else's feet around you are going to help this thing click. And that's, I think, what should fire us up, because I think there is some reservations, myself included, with the quarterback room, just more so being young, right? Not having a lot of experience. But it sounds like there's confidence in that room of like, look, I don't need a guy that is world class because of how the offense is ran. If he can understand the system more and be up here, and then hit his checkdowns, and as he develops and as he grows, then his ability to throw will even open this thing up even more. But we're going to throttle guys because of just a talent alone and utilize this speed. I've been saying it. Carson Beck hasn't, and this isn't, I'm hating on it. Carson Beck hasn't been a knockout killer this playoffs. They figure out pretty quickly, hey, let's just get our guys in open field, get them the ball. Can Carson throw it when need be? Yeah, but he hasn't had to be a superhero. They've had a system, and it's worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think his arm is kind of cooked compared to I think he's still kind of feeling that surgery from last offseason. But yeah, if you just have a good running game that you can lean on with some deception and you can throw the ball, and they really make it easy. That's one thing. I went and watched. This is before I knew Philo was coming, but went and watched kind of when there was rumblings that maybe he was coming. He started against Gardner Webb last year, so you go and watch. Okay, well, what's this look like? And Buster, there was a lot of screens early, a lot of easy throws early, some boots, some different things. And it looked a little bit different than the Haynes King stuff, a lot of heavy play action shots. But those are things that for a quarterback, especially a younger guy, maybe making one of my first starts in my career, it's easy. One guy, one decision, one quick decision. I'm throwing here, or I'm throwing to this guy. I'm just throwing here. It's really easy decisions. And he seemed to understand that, okay, a guy that played a quarterback in a passing offense as Buster was, I think he understands, okay, I can give this guy some easy ones and kind of help him grow into the game here. And that may be a thing where, all right, I'm going to give him a lot of easy ones early in the season and help him grow into the season as well.
Yeah, I got 2 opponents you can do that finally for once too. That you can kind of dink and dunk on them and get some rhythm, get some good juju in that quarterback room, and heck, probably try out both of them and see how both of them. I mean, you really could have in-game competition with those 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would hurt. Both the guys are pretty talented. Philo's going to be interesting. He flashed at times, and I know he's got the high school numbers, even though it was a smaller classification. But he's flashed some, and you'll see he's on a couple of the clips I've got. He flashes some potential for sure. So that's one it is. So you think you kind of feel like they'd like to add one more guy, I'd imagine, at quarterback, and there is some kind of, man, you're getting a lot of really good dudes at receiver without a proven quarterback. Is that the best course of action? But Buster has seen this guy a couple years, and that's the other thing. Buster is also coaching the SEC. He knows what it takes. So I think you got to defer to his judgment a little bit on that. So if he feels like Philo is ready to come in and compete, then he must be a pretty good player. I think especially early in the tenure, you got to give him that latitude.
I agree. I think that was kind of what we were leaning on. I was like, the guy was offensive coordinator of the year. I think we can trust him right now.
Yeah, and he's been in the SEC. He was at Georgia. He knows what it takes. Okay, the SEC is a little different. This is what it takes. So
no doubt.
I think I trust his judgment there. At least for now. We'll see. He's got a couple of years, I guess.
Ladies and gents, good morning. We have about 600 people here at Seth Varner joining us today. We're breaking down the Buster Faulkner offense. If you just joined us, Seth, you can go ahead and pull up that all 22, man, and show us the juice that Cody has been excited about, so we can see the things that you've been elaborating on a little bit more, and then we'll get up after it.
Yeah, so I've got kind of a smaller selection here today. I don't want to kill you guys too much with two, because I do on my YouTube channel, Vulnerable Films. I've got like an hour and 40. It ended up being like an hour and 45 minutes long. That was not my intention when I started it. Well, that's what we ended up getting to. So with like 240 clips. So if you want like the super in-depth stuff, you can check it out there. It's got timestamps, so you can break it up a little bit. But so I thought this was an interesting one because, all right, so here's a difficult situation if you're a defense, right? So we'll start kind of talking run game. But so you got a tight end here, and then you got trips opposite the tight end. So you got 3 receivers opposite the tight end. So when you get in these formations, these are like, this is called a nub tight end when nobody's outside of him. When you get in these kind of formations, it makes it difficult for the defense because where are you going to set your strength? Are you going to set it? Now I'm in the pistol, so I can't set it to the back. Am I going to set my strength to the tight end, which would be the running strength, or am I going to set my strength to the 3 receivers, which would be the passing strength, right? So right off the bat, just in this formation, you've got to make some decisions, right? Where am I going to set the strength? And then it's middle of the field. So I don't really have to worry about boundary or field. So I got to decide where am I going to set my strength? That's just right off the bat. And Buster, we're getting a lot of stuff like this where, all right, do you want to set to my passing strength? All right, we're going to run the ball. You want to set to my running strength? All right, we'll throw it. And then we've got motion. And then we're going to run back away from the tight end and run wide zone. So run game stuff, wide zone, Florida's been running it. They're going to run. So this is stuff you've seen under the last regime. You'll still see a little bit of that.
All that running back needs is a sliver. That's all that was, too.
And then they'll get right formationally, and this was I think this might have been right after they hit like a big completion. They had the ball down like almost inside their 10. They hit a big play over the top, a big play action shot. This is Philo at quarterback. A big play action shot. And they immediately come out and get in wide stacks. So now as a defense, especially if we've seen like Florida against Tennessee the last few years, right? You go look. Like, you've got to decide, how am I going to play these stacks? Am I going to play 3 over 2? Am I going to play 2 over 2? Am I going to play off? All right, so this is with a little tempo here as well. You can see there's 31 seconds left in the play clock, and they're just going to run counter. So this was kind of their base play at Georgia Tech, I would say. So we're going to get some down blocks, right? We're going to go down. We're going to pull, kick, pull, and wrap. And get this thing sorted out really nicely.
I mean, my goodness.
And then I think we got this one from the back view as well. Oh, maybe not. Didn't. But yeah, so I get in the wide stacks, and then you see here's my safeties out here. They got to play out here for screen because they will throw a ton of screen. They got to play for screen. So there's no safety in the middle of the field because this all happened with, like I said, with tempo. So they just got up, got in a wide stack, ran base formation.
I mean, the sell to this side, too, is so good that he's going to throw that screen.
Yeah, both the wide receivers pop it up for the screen like that.
Because they will throw it. Like, it's a true option for the quarterback. He could have thrown either. And
he's probably reading, he's probably checking these safeties, right? They're like, there's no guy, they're cheating to the side, to the middle of the field's wide open.
So right now,
tight end,
he knows I can read this guy. I'm blocking this guy, right? And so if we do a pretty good job here, I know I've got a hat in the box right now. So he's probably looking. If I get any type of look with this type of box, I'm handing it off. If this guy creeps in, maybe I throw this thing out here. That's kind of it's a real easy. It's kind of quick, and once you do it a few times, it becomes intuitive for the quarterback of just I see the space and where my space is, and I just hand it off.
In worst case, you always got one guy to beat, and that's where if you're Florida fans looking at this and you go, man, go back real quick just for the screen perspective, right? So if the safety it's probably the nickel there that you're pulling up. That's if
he's out here,
then you've got. I mean, that's either Eric Singleton or VB3 probably, right, or on vice versa on the other side, or even or Abrams, who has speed, or Justin Williams, the newly freshman. That all they got to do is make one guy miss, and they're gone. There's nobody. There's nowhere to go, and you're probably still doing play action. So your linebackers are cheating forward. I mean, my goodness.
And you'll see how this, as we go. You'll see how this, and there's not a ton of clips here, but you'll see even in the limited clips how this kind of starts to build on each other. So, yeah, so they'll throw that screen a ton, and they'll throw a ton of screen. So they've got to be, these defensive guys have got to be ready for screen. And what they do really well, and I don't know if this was a coaching thing or what, but they block really well on the perimeter. I don't think Florida's blocked really well on the perimeter for a while, and in the screen game. So. And that's why the screen game that's one of the reasons it was so bad in the last regime, is that they didn't block very well on the perimeter.
That would make me irate because people get mad about the screen. I'm like, the screen works. You see it. It's successful.
Yeah, the numbers are there.
Yeah, you got to block though. And I'm like, that was where I would get my opinion. I would hold that accountability on Coach Gonzalez. I don't know who was in charge of having wide receivers learn how to block, but if that's how I looked at it, and so. That would frustrate the hell out of me when I would see that. It's like we're throwing a screen and he's just getting warped back there. Someone does the exact same play against us, and I was like, the guy's getting 15 yards. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it wasn't always the old play calls, but it was a lot always.
I also think this is going to be the most athletic group that Buster's ever had.
It's going to be very skilled. He had some. I would imagine it's going to be the most talented group he's ever been the coordinator for sure.
Like this thing could get nasty.
We're
talking 40 points a game.
I mean, that'd be great, but let's not get too excited now. But we don't set our expectations too high. But I do think it is probably the most talented group he's had, I would imagine. Now he had some. He did have some good talent. He did have some good skill guys at Georgia Tech. But yeah, it's a lot more talented, I think, than Arkansas State. And if you look at recruiting rankings, a lot more talented probably than his groups at Tech. So this is another thing. So just kind of, this is a little bit of the quarterback run game stuff. But so this is another kind of funky one. So you bring the X receiver over to the other side, and then so now you have two receivers on the ball. One of these guys is not eligible to go out for a pass, right? They're covered up. But then it lets me play my tight end off the ball. And I'm playing, I think this is a receiver in at running back, but I got two guys in the backfield here, right? And so then shift over, then motion him out, and then I'm running quarterback counter. So I'm faking in the back the other way and running quarterback. And so this is kind of why I think it would be good for them to get a guy that has some of those run elements, just because it's such a nice part of the offense. So right here, he probably could have thrown this if he wanted to, because that is part of it. He kind of looks at the box and see if nobody goes out, I can throw it. He pulls it, and then you have this extra kind of element of the back coming across. So there will be times where they'll pull the tackle, and then this guy will be a lead blocker for the back if the quarterback wants to give it to the back, or the quarterback can keep it back behind the pullers. So it's just the quarterback run adds a nice element to it, but you can kind of see guys aren't quite sure where the football is right now. You can if you just look at the helmet, if you just look at the helmets on some of the Georgia defenders, there's guys looking all over the place.
Yeah,
there's not. I mean, this guy's looking
north and south.
This guy's looking out here, and there's nobody there.
This isn't Central Northwestern Missouri State that we're talking about. We're talking this is UGA.
Yeah, so the amount of movement and just like funky formation stuff makes it so difficult. Here's another. So this is kind of the RPO element off of it here, but you can just see they're going to shift, and then they're going to get into kind of like this is like a tight bunch almost, and then they still got two on the same side, so they got four guys on the same side of the formation, which is difficult, and they're into the boundary. So how are you going to call it? Are you going to call it into the boundary? And you'll see it later times. They'll put all these guys in the boundary. Defense will call the strength there, and then they'll have a huge bit of space one-on-one backside for somebody. Not the case this time, but and now they're going to make it look like counter again. All right, so you motion. There's Singleton right there. They're going to make it look just like you're running counter. Here's the puller, right? We saw kicking out the first guy, and instead of this guy wrapping inside, he's actually going to run right to the flat. So it's an easy RPO kind of throw for the quarterback. I can pull it. You're waiting for that guy to wrap up inside, and you're looking to meet him. Now we're going to run him to the flat instead, and it's just easy throw for the quarterback, easy yardage there. And it's all kind of off the same,
that looked like a Licata Dupree type of play. That's why I like that guy.
Yeah. That's right. I'll be interested. The personnel groupings will be really interesting because they do a ton of it. So you've seen even in this like little clips, I think we've gone 21, we've gone 11, almost a 10 look. 2 backs in the backfield, 1 back in the backfield, 2 tight ends, shifting, motioning. It's just a lot. And this is just kind of the RPO element of it. So this is back when he was at Arkansas State. This is like true blue, old school RPO stuff. And that's kind of the other thing about Buster is he's like, I don't know if he's necessarily the guy that's leading the charge on all these things, but you see, and I think they even kind of when they talked about some of the staff he's bringing up from Georgia Tech, they do a really good job of watching other teams and finding wrinkles they can implement. And so he's always got some like stuff that's kind of on the cutting edge. So this is kind of when the RPO stuff was just getting pretty popular and he was running RPO. So they're going to go, I think, hitch outside and then glance inside. And then the quarterback's just looking. If this guy fills for the run, there's not a lot of space left. So this was kind of early-ish in the RPO world, and he got pretty heavy in it. So, and then you'll see he does some other things coming up that are kind of, and he loves this one, little pop pass. When you run heavy, just slide the tight end out over the top there.
Where has this been all my life? Golly.
So when you add kind of the really fun run game stuff and then you start adding those little RPO elements off of it, that can make it more difficult. And then they throw a ton of screen in a bunch of different ways. So here you got the stacks again, and you look, all right, well, now these guys are playing a little bit tighter here. And it's really like you could truly look, all right, this looks like it's kind of 2 over 2. And now I'm actually just going to run screen. And now I've got
what a block too.
This is against Gardner Webb, so there is a little bit of a, just understand that. But the scheme of it.
But here's the thing: it's going back because we've watched it kind of progress now, right? So when we watch the stack formation from before, I have no clue where it's going. And if you watch it, he has the running back's open back here, the one running away. So if he wants it now, obviously there's 2 guys. Well, no,
I think he could throw it here if he wanted to, or he could throw it here. So he's got kind of the option to throw either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I felt like, and because of how I love plays that just are just quick, get it off, and you can see there's 2 options. Of course, you're always going to have a guy to beat. This one was obviously the better option because there was no just go be you, baby. We got the rest. Where it felt like again the old offense, we always talked about it. It just needed to be executed. But there was never multiple options. It was like, this is it. You stop it. You got us. So, and it's kind of cool to see, too, where the thinking is all done prior to the game, right? Where it's like you said, it's not a lot for the quarterback to have to digest. He knows going to play. It's one of these 2 options. And then when you go out there, here's what you're looking for. If you see this, you go here. If you see that, you go there. And now, look, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. Obviously, these things get beat and they can get stopped as well. But, man, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I heard somebody say one time, this is what this stuck with me. I heard somebody say, I don't remember who, but they're like, you can tell a good offense by how their screen game looks.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of detail and planning and practice and things like that. The screen game at Georgia Tech looked pretty good. So, screen game at Florida has not looked great the last few years. So, so this is just like built. This is kind of a one that's built off the run action where I think this is truly I'm running zone up here. If nobody comes out of the box with this and they don't match numbers and I like to look, I can throw the screen, which is something you even saw with the last regime. But just being committed to taking those little throws and blocking on the perimeter, like the yards just pile up. And as you just stay on the field more, obviously you get more chances, more plays, more chances to score. So.
And he has 2 legitimate options here, and both of them, because like you said, one, going back to what you mentioned earlier, they've got to line up neutral. They don't know where it's going to go right now. So when you are neutral, you can't cheat to an edge and get an advantage. So you have to also execute now being on defense, right?
And this is and like this, the ball's on the hash. So this is in. You got 3 receivers into the boundary. You've got the tight end up top. So it's really all right. Well, how are you going to set it? How are you going to set your front? How are you going to set your strength? How are you going to set your coverage? Are you going to set it to these 3 receivers in the boundary? It looks like Georgia plays more to the run strength. So it's all right, cool. We'll just whip it out to the sideline.
Yeah. And they're playing way back, expecting kind of like a run. But he still had the hole. There was a hole if he wanted to run it left.
Yeah, so they did a really good, and that's one thing that I think you hope with Troutwine coming in, that like Brent Key, I think, did a really good job with offensive linemen, and I'm sure their staff did a really good job up front. But I think once you saw the O-line hire, you got to feel pretty good, right?
Can I pick your brain on that real quick? Because they're obviously on the O-line. I think a lot of us were thought, hey, we save money on this, and this. We go get like 3 5-star tackles, but they instead choose to stick with the guys Florida has been developing, and then go get 3 guys that Troutwine / Buster have worked with. Do you like that more so, or are you indifferent on that? Or what is your thought overall on that?
I would think that like you got to make your investments in high school offensive linemen for the most part. So I think maybe kind of a wait and see. Let's see if they pour some money into this next recruiting class in the high school level, because now I don't think anybody maybe anticipated a guy like Jordan Seaton coming back in the market. So
did not anticipate him, right?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, he is.
Yeah, I know he's he's in there. That's what I'm saying. But I don't think the staff was like, you know what? Well, let's save some money because I bet Jordan Seaton's going to jump in the transfer. You know what? They probably were like, we need to spend our money in high school O linemen because that's typically the way to go. Is you spend your money there. They don't transfer as often. And like the really good ones, right? That's as much as it pains, I'm sure, Florida fans to say, like that's the Miami model. Was we're going to invest heavily in offensive linemen out of high school, and in 3 years they'll be pretty good. And it turns out they're pretty good. Right. Yeah. So so that's kind of not everyone is hit, but they've done enough. And so I think that may be a wait and see. Kind of let's see how they do with this next class. But they're getting guys on campus. It sounds like that are big time players. So they signed a couple of those guys. I think you're in good shape. So if you're saving your money for that, great. If not, then maybe you wanted to go. You might have gone after a couple more guys, but I think for now you kind of you bring in guys guys you have a pretty good feeling on, and I think the scheme can make up for some of it. But I would imagine I think it's a little bit of wait and see in terms of how they're going about the O-line stuff, because I would imagine they want to go. They're going to spend some money there in high school.
$20 from Kyle says, "Thank you for blessing us with your big, beautiful brain, Seth."
I appreciate it. It's early now. I mean, this is a tough start time here. All right, so here's another little wrinkle. So you've got a receiver, and you got to rewind these things all the way to the back because they move so much. So you got 2 guys on down here. You got the tight end's going to shift across. You got a receiver at running back here. So this is actually a receiver at running back. You're going to motion him out. And now, right now, I could give this. I could keep it. I could throw the screen, right? So he's probably got eyes here. If you're the quarterback, is this guy playing the screen? No. Right? Well, guess
now
what?
You got no man to beat.
That makes it easy. I'll throw the screen. And that's all it is. Like, it's not huge, but there's like, picks up a first down. You see the sticks? We pick up a first down.
The poor linebackers going against this.
Yeah,
offense.
It's a nightmare.
I mean, you're essentially taking 2 linebackers off the field. I mean, they're not going to be able to do much.
I mean, just watch like what his process has to be on every single play, just about. All right. If we just watch his, all right, I got to get ready for counter. Oh, the ball's outside. Now I got to run all the way to the sideline. And then they're going to get back on the ball and do it again really quickly. So that's like that, it could be, if once this gets rolling, it could be a really long day for you on defense. So
now, do you think he'll throw Evan Pryor back there instead of a wide receiver to that guy that motioned out? Or do you
I think he will. Like he's shown he'll put 2 backs back there. So Jaden Ball might be the guy that goes out in motion, or I don't know if Pryor's a really good pass catcher. They can use them both. I think a lot. I don't know. I haven't seen a ton of Pryor, so I'm not sure if he is.
Okay.
But I know Ball is when Ball was coming in as a freshman, I heard Napier at a clinic, and they talked about playing him at slot receiver a little bit at the clinic. He's like, this guy, we got to get him on the. He's like, he catches the ball so well, we might play him in packages as a slot receiver. I was like, make a note of that. This guy must be unbelievable, because I saw how like big he was. I'm like, write that one down. So I like Ball is really interesting. I think he can be really like accentuating this offense a little bit with how well he can catch the ball too. So then you see, right, we run the ball, we motion, we screen. Now here's our new little white receiver here, Mr. Stockton.
Exciting white. Hey, we gotta have one.
Yeah, baby.
Now you start going screen and go, right? You start playing the screen really hard. Well, now here comes the screen and go. That's Philo throwing it there as well. So
That's a good ball too.
that's a pretty good throw. So not too bad. You see here, this is back at Arkansas State days. Here, first of all, there's a guy that's not off the field quite yet. So that's how fast they're going, seemingly. Fake the screen. Some teams will do this. They'll kind of cross block things to make it easier. Just like I'm in the box, it's easier sometimes if I have a down block than it is to take a guy on straight. So maybe he'll come and so teams will cross block this. Instead of him going to get the corner, he'll come here and then this guy will go get the corner, right? So they're going to kind of make a play off that. Makes it look like I'm going to get the corner, and then we're both slipping it. And then the quarterback makes a good throw, but it just sits in the window. So we run a ton of screen. All right, well, here now's a little screen and go. And now we're going to go empty, motion the back out, little screen, 4 verts.
Yeah, he's got all day.
and then Haynes King wasn't a great thrower. So, so there were some points left out on the field at times, but see, just screen. It's just simple. Like we run screen. Now we're going to go.
Catch that?
No, I don't. Now we're going to go screen and go. And you kind of had either one. It's just a little long, I think.
And this is why you need to pull out the 401k and put 16 known champions for the Florida Gators, because Philo's going to dot that thing in there. Okay, that thing's going to walk itself down there and place it right into his beautiful hands.
Oh, look who it was! Our friend
Eric,
Mr. Stockton.
Oh, Stockton
Bailey.
Yeah.
Oh,
look at him getting
wide open
against Clemson.
We'll got some wheels, baby.
Look at him run by some people.
Yeah, he turns on. Zoom.
There you go.
And that's your wide receiver. What, 5, 4, 5?
Yeah.
We're talking there.
And then they've got the other things like the screen, like the shallow screen, where they're going to just, I put this one on because this is like, all right, this is something like you want to get Dallas Wilson an easy touch. All right, line him up tight. Everyone's going to run off and basically block, and he's going to run a shallow route. It's basically, as long as we don't engage our blocks before he catches the ball, we can do this. It's just a screen, but we're just going to block and throw it. So for the quarterback,
Miami was doing this with Malachi Toney. They were holding him up.
Real quick throw. Everybody, it looks like I'm running like 4 verts, so the defense starts to give ground. Nah, we're just going to drop it to this dude and block you. So they got a lot of different stuff.
Also, the timing of that. If you go back and look, because Florida would do that with Dallas, but they would do it in the first play of the game, and everyone's like, they're not running 4. Plus, Florida doesn't run 4 verts, right? Like Dallas got a ball. I caught a ball like this. They're down 18 with 3 to go. So you have to anticipate, hey, they're trying to make a big play here.
Yeah.
So it's actually like utilizing the game to your advantage too. Yeah. Like now it's 1st and 10, 14 minutes in the first quarter. We're gonna psych you out.
Open with the old shallow screen.
Yeah. Hit with a fake to vertical. Billy, you're not throwing verts, big guy. We know it's going to Dallas.
Yeah. So that's kind of run game, RPO screen stuff. This is a little bit of the passing game to end up. So there are those, Buster being an old air raid guy, there are those kind of air raid staples. You do see them show up a little bit. So here's kind of 4 verts, which is an air raid staple. And they do, I think they teach it this way where, and you saw like the famous Michael Crabtree catch against Texas was that kind of the same thing. You run 4 verts. If he's on top of you, I can kind of fall off on the back and back shoulder and almost throw it like a comeback. So they're so that's kind of 4 verts. That guy was over the top, so he kind of broke it off, right? This is going to be this is like kind of, you can see like then it was like 3 receivers, 3 by 1. Everyone's just running verts. So how's he kind of maybe changed a little bit? So here's the Georgia Tech. He's going to run switch verts. So they're going to switch release, and then the tight end's going to delay and kind of come out as the check down instead of the running back, right? So you'll see you're going to get like a switch vertical here. The back's going to release vertical. The tight end's going to chip and then delay. So he becomes your check down. But you kind of see how this gets open. So it's just 4 verts with the check down, but they just package it a little different way. And then they also switch releases up top, which can be difficult, right? So you've got to manufacture.
He had that crosser open too, right? I mean,
yeah, that's singleton too. So yeah, you could have ripped that and
it's a hard throw, but
and that guy's got to. It seems like the way they're matching it, right? He's kind of ready for him to run vertical. So when he goes across the field, you've already got leverage. So
yeah, you got the inside, and the other quarterback's not even looking. So that whole thing's open.
Yeah. So they got some options, and then they go. So that's kind of 4 verts, which is a big area stable. Mesh is another one you see all over the place. They ran it a ton against North Carolina State. I'm assuming they thought they were going to get man coverage. They go mesh with the rail, so the back is running kind of the rail route here. You're going to get the crossers over the ball, a guy sitting over the top. Sorry, you see the 2 crossers are both coming here, and then this tight end's just going to sit. And you see kind of the natural rubs and picks that happen. And then you just get a guy in space. So, what's nice is as you watch these, you start imagining, all right, so who's that for Florida? All right, that's probably a VB3. Okay, I like, that's a good spot to put him in. That's exactly where you want him with the football. So you start kind of imagining some of those things. You're like, all right, here's the mesh rail again, the same exact concept off of a totally different look. So this is the exact same concept as the last one. It's just different window dressing, different formation, but the look's the same. It's still mesh. You see the 2 crossers coming here, right? The back's going to go there. The 2 crossers here, but it's the same for the quarterback. It's the same exact read.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what he's looking for, it might take a little bit longer, but he knows what he's looking for, where it's going to be.
Yep.
And the players don't know though. The defense doesn't know.
The linebackers caught up in the wash too. That's another thing too. Is like you're eliminating players when you do that can make plays on the ball.
Yeah, and then when you add in like the play action elements and the jet sweep elements of it all, it's like add just a little bit extra hesitation. So you've got your eyes kind of going this way, and then a guy running past you the other way, and there's just a lot going on. And then guys start running into each other, and people pop wide open. So this is Y cross. This is like a true air raid staple again, where you got a vertical, you got a flat route, you got the deep crosser. This is something Florida would run with the last regime a little bit. Sometimes they'll go post here. You can go just straight vertical, but it's really more important this guy's vertical, clearing it out somehow. And then they'll run off the kind of the play action look. So you got a little deep crosser here. And again, you start thinking, all right, who's the guys Florida's going to have running this deep crosser? All right, I like that. I think that's something you want to see more. Shallow cross is another air raid staple. And so I think the other thing you see on a lot of these is wide open, but then guys catching the ball on the run a lot. So that's kind of they do throw curls, and they do throw, curl flat and things like that. Everybody does, but a lot of stuff.
I feel like we throw like a lot of hitches where it's like you just catch and get hit.
Yeah. So it's there are a lot of catch and run opportunities too. So that's nice. This is one of those things here I put towards the end, just is one of the more like when you talk about Buster being somewhat on the cutting edge, there's things that are being that he's doing that like this is something Will Stein was doing at Oregon that, he would get all the Twitter play of the days and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's kind of flood, but it's 4 strong. And so this was like a big trend recently, last few years in offensive football at a high level, is going 4 receivers strong and just really overloading the defense that side. So they're going to go double post on the outside. The third guy is going to run kind of a sail route, and then the back is going to be the flat control player. So you've got a chance to hit a shot over the top, and if the defense all falls off, it's really difficult to defend the sail route, right? I got if I play over top of the post, then I can high low. This is a Philo, by the way. So he rips this one pretty good. But it's just things like that where it's like this is something that's become a trend in college and NFL football. And he's kind of like, all right, I can incorporate that. Here he's doing it the year before against Georgia out of like a super. So there's your receiver at running back. I'm going to run him on a route out of the backfield. I mean, it's like that's just nasty because you're going to high-low this guy. You've got the double post going, and that's my running back / receiver coming out of the backfield. Really difficult to stop. And this one is and this one is a good example of understanding coverage and how to manipulate it. So he knows Georgia's going to play quarters, right? We got the motion here. They're going to go kind of vertical hitch here, and they're going to run a scissors concept up top. So they're kind of 1, 2, 1, 2 is kind of they're thinking if they're both to 10 yards, it's usually like, all right, I'm staying with 1 is mine, 2 is mine. If they both go to 10, it kind of turns into man almost down the field, right? It's pretty difficult. So this guy's going to press the toes of the safety, run a corner route. This guy's going to stay number 1, right? So he's going to stay number 1 as long as he can. So I've got number 1. I've got number 2 is what they're thinking, right? I'm going to stay 1 as long as he can. As soon as he breaks to the corner, I'm breaking to the post. So now that safety's got to understand number 1 is now number 2. Number 2 is now number 1. They've changed, right? And the safety does a great job here, but you can just see how easy it is and just understanding how the coverage rules where I'm going to get this guy open just from understanding how the coverage is going to be playing, right? So
and bang too.
Yes, and it's easy for all the quarterbacks got to look for is basically I'm looking at that safety. If he opens up to the corner at all, I'm ripping that post. Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's like not super difficult for the quarterback, but it is a nightmare for the defensive back because it's really understanding his rules and playing with his rules a little bit. And now he does a great, like this is actually like a really good play, I think, by the safety. But still, this guy's going to make an unbelievable play for me to if you tell me, all right, Georgia's safety is going to make an unbelievable play and you're going to pick up 20 yards, I'm going to be like, all right, sign me up. Right. So like, I'm good with that. So,
yeah,
that's kind of, that's kind of a real general look at Buster's offense a little bit. And just like some of the things he does, like I said, I go really in depth if you want to get really in depth. But he understands defenses, he understands their rules, and he kind of uses it against them. So, I think it's a hire everyone should be pretty excited about. No guarantee that it'll work, but it's got all the right elements.
Yeah, obviously nothing's ever guaranteed, but we've seen it have success at high levels against obviously teams that we play, teams like Georgia. And I think we could all agree that Georgia's probably one of the best managed and coached defense in college football. And obviously giving those guys fits like we just saw. A lot of those clips and success were against Georgia, which is good to see because something we've talked about with the schedule. Look, you got 5 teams on the schedule going into next year, not including your 2 cupcakes that are doing basically a regime overhaul. So they're going to have to they're implementing new things. They're not going to be nearly as disciplined. I don't think they got another Kurt Singetti line around where they're going to be the most disciplined team in college football. But so if Florida can come in and establish this offense, and I think the key thing too is that it's easily digestible for the quarterback. There's not much to it. Now that one play needs to be blocked. It took time to develop, so they got to make sure they give a man time. But even still, if that play, that particular one, there was, the first like 7 plays were all just dump it off, get rid of it and take advantage of your
I think he can make it as easy or as complex as you can handle. It's kind of what's nice. Like he can pare it down and I think has success with a pared down offense, or I think he can open it up a little bit more. He seems pretty adaptable. You go back to the Arkansas State stuff, it looks totally different than the Georgia Tech stuff in terms of personnel, in terms of kind of it looks like, true blue basic spread offense is kind of what it looks like. We're really spreading the field. And then you look at Georgia Tech, it's a little different. You look at his different stops and they're all a little bit different. So I think he can truly, and it seems like that's kind of what Summerall wanted, is a guy that can adapt to what you got. And it seems like he can. And what's nice is, like you said earlier, Cody, it's like this is probably the best he's ever got. So you get to adapt to that. So that's nice.
Are you breaking down defense at all?
I haven't yet. I coach offense, so I tend to skew more towards that side of the ball. I've looked a little bit at the defense and talked to some people, but I haven't looked in depth at the defense yet. I'm really interested to see how it looks different from Kentucky, and if it looks a little bit more like Tulane. I think, from people I've talked to, the Tulane defense was a lot more man heavy at times than Kentucky was. So it's kind of, is this going to be more Summerall's defense or White's defense? And the other question is White's defense the same exact as Stoops' defense? So was White running Stoops' defense all those years and he's got some few different wrinkles, or is that what he wanted to run and it just happened to fit Stoops' style? So, it'll be interesting to see. I do think if you look at like how Texas Tech played, that guy was
Tulane.
Summerall's. Yeah. He was Summerall's DC before. So,
yeah,
is that how Summerall wants to play, or is that guy, this is how he wants to play, and he took it to Texas Tech. So Tulane did seem to be a little bit more aggressive and would play some more man coverage and move the front a little bit more. I think that's one thing that you'll see is they're going to move the front a little bit. I think Kentucky did that as well. So you're going to see some stunts and guys moving. So maybe you don't need that super gigantic nose guard like you would in the previous defenses. Maybe you can get away with a little bit smaller guy. You still need some stout dudes, but maybe it's going to be more movement based. So I'm interested to see kind of what direction they go. I think that's something you'll see maybe in spring. Are they going to be a little bit more man heavy, or is it going to be more zone? Because Kentucky was pretty zone heavy, I think.
So that is interesting because we've talked about, hey, they got to go to big nose tackle, right? And maybe they haven't had that. They haven't even had a guy on campus in regards to that position. But that's the part we don't know. Like, well, hey, we're not looking to run. Just we want more speed, a little more versatility on the line than what we typically had last year. So that's an interesting point that I hadn't thought about.
Yeah, it seems like they want to move more. So, maybe you don't need a guy like, maybe like a Mekhi Barrow where you're like, man, sucks to lose him. And I think if you ask him, they'd like to keep him. But
sure.
Also maybe, all right, well, maybe that's not like he wouldn't have been like the perfect fit if they're going to move a ton up front. You want the biggest possible body that can move. So, if he's a guy that can move around, obviously those are the hardest guys to block. But, if I think it's possible that maybe like, all right, we'll be a little bit not as big. We're still going to be big because it's the SEC. You can't put like a smaller dude out there. But maybe we're going to emphasize, quickness a little bit more, and we're going to stunt and move a little bit more. So, that could be a tell. I think you'll see in the spring kind of, all right, how they play in the spring game. Are they playing a lot of man coverage? Are they moving the front a lot? And I think we'll be able to tell. But that's kind of what I'm watching for defensively is, all right, what style are they going to play? Are they going to play exactly what we saw at Kentucky? Or are they going to play what Summerall was playing at Tulane? Is it going to be a mix? Is it going to be more one way or the other? So spring should be fun at least. You'll find some stuff out.
It will be fun. It will be fun. And then Growing Food says, thank you, Seth. Brilliant. $2. Seth, this has been a blast. I can't thank you enough for hopping on here and doing this with us. Shout out to Cody for you guys for getting together and then realizing how cool this would be. Tell them where they could find you, man. And obviously you have an hour 45 of breakdown of this.
Yeah.
Tune into that.
Yeah, if you're a real sicko and you want to watch that whole hour 45 minutes, that's Varnador Films on YouTube. You can find it there. Like I said, it is timestamped. So if because I went through kind of personnel, formations, motions, run game, RPO. I kind of sectioned it off a little bit. So if you don't want to sit for an hour and 40 minutes and just go nuts, if you want to, all right, I'll watch 20 minutes at a time. You can do that. There's timestamps so in the description, so you can check it out there. I'm at Seth Varnador on Twitter, X, whatever. That's pretty much the only thing I'm at on socials. You can follow me there. I post my stuff, my videos and stuff there. But thanks for having me on. It was a good time.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
This was great. And maybe we'll pick your brain later on in the season once we get some more things to look at from the spring game. I'm sure that'll be fun.
Yeah, anytime. I'm always down to talk a little ball. So anytime, fellas.
All right, man. We'll go Gators. We appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Go Gators.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Varner there. What? Cody fired up?
Is everybody about to summon? Is everybody summoned? Because I'm summoned. I smiled the entire time.
That was incredible stuff. It was cool to just kind of finally get a little bit of taste of football of what it could be, right? I think that was the thing that we right now it's all kind of just in our head of what we think it may or may not be. And I think what really excited me the most was just the simplicity of adapting to the offense and how it was so complimentary to, one, the quarterback, but two, also making sure that you're getting your best guys the football in the right type of space. That was something we complained so many times. Like, just shut up and just throw VB3 the ball. And they would, and we get absolutely hammered. Because, again, whether it be nobody was blocking or the screen wasn't ran properly. And I meant to ask him, hey, do you think Ball gets 1,000 again? People care about that. I don't care. I know it's fun. He got it last year at a time. I'd rather win football games than get a guy always get 1,000 yards. And I asked that because it just felt like there was every time you hike the football, it's like, dude, 7 dudes could get the ball right now and have ultimate success with it.
I don't think Ball gets to 1,000, but hear me out. This is why. When you're scoring, 62 points a game, I think he's going to be pulled by like this, but probably by halftime.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So he's not going to have the amount of attempts, but he's still going to look great in the offense.
Okay. Joe, $2. Good morning, gents. GMFG. Good morning, man. I appreciate you. Great to be a Florida Gator, Nick. Absolutely. Sorry, I missed these super chats. We were rolling. Love this time slot. Always tune in for my work drive, Tampa to Orlando. Wow, what a drive. Well, hope how we could rock and roll, Eric.
You'll have to watch this one back because the film breakdown is just at another level.
You don't get to listen to this one. That is true. Yes, you can. You can kind of look down. And you're just driving, right? It's not anything important. Right. Fluffy became a YouTube member. My man, welcome to the family. Sheldon, send me that hoodie. What do you think? Like 5 Gs? $5, 5 Gs to tell you the hoodie? Bro, Buster is that dude. These plays are fitting are fire. Great show, guys. Need to get Coach Sommer on the show. Go Gators. That's our goal, boys. We're gonna do what we can. If he seems like he'd be a phenomenal hire or interview. Which again, I was never a fan of. Once I saw Billy, I was like, he's not gonna be anything exciting to watch. But loved it. Loved that. Harris, did you watch that big guy? How you feeling? Fired up or what? So we had a monster move last night, huh, Cody?
Yeah. Seaton to the portal. And then Hal tweeted out he wants 2.3 mil.
Hal Lewis did?
Yeah.
Our Hal?
Our Hal.
So they must have already had an inquiry on him, or was he saying like he wants 2.3, like no way, or?
I can pull I got the tweet.
Yeah,
here.
let's go talk about it. I'm going to pull this up. So the big news we're talking about is Mr. Jordan Seaton has entered into the transfer portal, which kind of really shocks me. I wonder what went down because granted how late it is, something happened. He's been a staple for Colorado, in my opinion. I've loved the fact that he committed there and kind of stuck through some hard times. And he was highly sought after last year. Right, going into his junior year now, so this is going to be his contract year. I don't think he stays, if we're being honest, but I can't even see. You're a piece of shit.
What is that?
I'm about to mute you.
That's That's $87, son. $87. Just look at it. Just look at that graph. Just through the roof. Through the roof. Okay, I'll pull up the tweet now. God. Enough fun. I had to. I'd slip it. People were banging on the silver for the last 40 minutes. We're trying to do a film breakdown, and all they want to do is talk silver. I've corrupted the chat. I am the captain now. We
just watched 45 minutes of film, and Ezra says, I'm really worried about Georgia Tech's offense was only good because of King, not because of the OC.
Wild take.
I mean, yeah, he was at Georgia, won two championships with Stetson Bennett. I know he wasn't the only guy. Bobo was on the staff, or not Bobo. Monken was on was the coordinator. But I mean, he showed us multitude of areas where it had success, and I think he made a lot of those clips were with Philo. I mean, let's not get it twisted. I don't know. I don't. Can you read through the comments? Was there? I can't see that at all. That's awful.
It's super
blurry.
It up for you.
Yeah, it's super blurry. It's okay. I mean, I believed you what he said. I thought there was maybe more to it, but
so it says, FYI, Jordan Seaton's camp is starting the bidding at $2.5 million, and that was.
I think that thing will skyrocket because Lance Hurd was demanding anywhere between $1 to $3 million. Yeah. So and for me, like if Hal puts that out there, personally, I think me and you, when we're GMing, we got the GM hats on, we have been like, hey, no way, not worth it. I don't know if there's a line on this one. I got to be honest with you. I'm willing to go. I'm willing to send it a little bit. Now I'm sure there's probably somebody that's going to go a little bit heftier. Yeah, he's the number 4 player. That's in there.
You have the phone.
Yeah,
would it be too much of an ask?
Yeah, I mean, $3 million to me, I would just go, hey, $3 million, take it right now. Like, let's get him out of the bidding world.
There's only one thing to do, and that's a GM show tomorrow.
How we secure Jordan Seaton?
How we secured Jordan Seaton. If he doesn't go tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Oregon and Texas seem to be all in on it.
Of course.
Oregon, and we were just talking about Oregon not having dudes on the O-line.
Yeah. Well, if that guy was out in Colorado, he won't mind living in Oregon. It's about the same.
Yeah, and this honestly really, I mean, surprisingly enough, I wonder what Colorado did, because for the fact that he stayed for 2 years at Colorado, never felt like a money play to me for Seaton. I really felt like he really, respected what they had going on and wanted to be a part of building it. And he's been a catalyst. They've lost their whole line. They lost a lot of dudes. So, like, their whole recruiting class they brought in, they're having to revamp. I mean, that's kind of the Colorado blueprint. But Seaton was a crazy one. Seaton was one I thought was when it didn't happen right away. I was like, I loved it. Like, I was kind of happy that he was going to stay. This kid was going to be a first rounder regardless of where he plays. I think so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like everybody knows who he is. The guy has been good since freshman year. Now, he's been playing in the Big 12. Obviously, people like to take that in consideration, but he's been exceptional in my eyes. Since day one, he got burnt a little bit his freshman year, but the guy matured. He growed very quickly. I was kind of like turned off by him during his recruiting process, but really became to appreciate and love what he was able to do. I think he grew up tremendously.
Florida was heavy in that. Could he circle the wagon back?
Yeah, but we have to remember, guys, it was a different regime.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying they don't.
Place is the same, and you have a better offensive line coach now.
I agree with all those things.
It's probably more of an attraction.
No, I know, but we don't know if the coaches want that style. That's all that I'm getting at. I'm not saying style, which is kind of a weak comment, but they weren't talking to him, so there's no connection with. That's all that I'm saying. It's not like,
gotcha.
Oh, we were recruiting before. No, we weren't. Like, the staff is there was not. There's zero correlation at all. There's zero relevancy to that outside of him understanding where it came from. Yeah. And him being closer to home. Sure. Outside of that, I mean, no. Now, I would argue that he's got a better, you've got a better coach now.
Here's another thing. He's from Maryland. That's not too far away from Pennsylvania, Penn State, where Troutwine was at. So
he may have
recruited him. I'm sure he did.
Go look at it.
I'll look.
Hey, double. Go see if Tulane gave an offer. Double dipper.
Oh, don't get me going. Don't get me going with a double dip.
I wonder again. I think I wonder if all the funds are all scooped up. If we're being honest, but it'll be
if you need it. Like if you feel like this is a program changer, you go find the funds. You go. If you're John Summerall, you're picking up the phone right now and you're calling everybody, every booster and their brother, trying to gather, as much money as you can. I mean, they may call me with silver being up at 87 after that tweet after Hal. I mean, I might have to ship the whole thing off and go get me a starting tackle. I'd sell my silver for Jordan Seaton. Okay, I'll draw the line there.
Okay, I'm glad. I just saw this. I didn't see this yesterday. So Q Rusall and James Smith. I don't know if you guys remember this, but these guys were a package deal in high school. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we followed that because those were the two guys that I loved and I wanted. I wanted Q Rusall. That was a guy that I was adamant about getting. But yeah, James Smith and Q Rusall were basically package deals, right? They both have entered the portal and have now both gone to Ohio State. There's something I don't know about between those two. Like, they're gonna get drafted together too. All of a sudden, Ohio State just got some units.
Took 3 visits. He took 3 visits to Penn State.
3?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Unofficials, but there were still 3 visits. He took an official to Florida,
I would love for us just to be in the conversation. Right now, it looks like it's a Texas.
I'm sure Tulane offered him, but they're not on the list.
You sure they did, Cody? They had to. Well, that would have been in his Troy days anyways, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Troy.
Yeah, it says other programs to note include LSU, Miami, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech. I mean, you're talking about.
Why not Florida, though? Why not Florida, John?
Command in the $2 million range. I mean,
well, we're paying a running back.
This is why I feel like this thing could get egregious. Because my thing is like, I think we all agree say he's worth $3. If I gotta know what Lance Hurd got. That's what I need to know.
Yeah. I'm not selling it. I'm joking.
I got my XRP. We're playing 2 different games here. The other big one that happened yesterday that I feel like I kind of like the move. I kind of like them. I'm trying to find the graphic here. Yeah, I'm trying to find the graphic here. Man, the portal is still absolutely electric. Like we could have just AJ Harris, cornerback at Indiana. Interesting one there. Obviously, once Florida commit.
Not to rip on anybody, but Hayes Fawcett kind of just throwing in the towel lately on the graphics.
I think that his phone's.
Is he too big now?
Phone's getting burnt. He's getting a lot of flack for it. I haven't really cared too much. I mean, I'm a grown man. I really don't care about it. I think it does the job. It's got 45 graphics a day dropping on what school the kid's going to.
He's got an intern on 3 making them. Like, you got to spice it up a little bit.
What's wrong with it? Because they don't have like them standing in the stadium and stuff. Is that what you're mad about?
Boring. It's plain and boring. Like,
but I don't think we ever had like big ones for the transfer portal. I don't feel those are the same. They're
world. Not the same as recruits.
No.
Yeah.
No. The thing, you got 14 days.
Yeah, because it moves so fast.
Yeah. Like I just need the information. Why can't I find the graphic? Where is he?
I guess I could look. Who's a transfer we got last year?
You don't even know who I'm talking about.
Who's a transfer we got last year?
For what?
For Florida.
Oh, Oregon just lost a tight end. 6'5".
Chat, name me a transfer, a big one.
Jarquez Carter wants a Newberry kid from Ohio State. He's going to Miami. The other big one, Jordan Norman's going to Tennessee, edge rusher from Tulane. Florida really felt like that was one of us. That could have been us. I wonder what was the thought process on that one, whether he was just asking for too much or if we just didn't attack it the right way. But that one was an interesting one, for sure.
25.
Sam Levitt to LSU. That wasn't the one I was going to talk. But apparently he hasn't signed yet. And now, I mean, this LSU fans, they're starting to get cocky with this Sam Levitt news happening, which it was kind of funny. I felt like we talked about how they weren't doing that well, and then yesterday they made some moves, but he hasn't signed. It looks like Tennessee is pushing heavily to try to sign. I think Miami's still in the mix too, so it'll be interesting. But the big one that I want to talk about was Dylan Raiola. Finally found the graphic, so we could talk about it. Finally finding himself a home at Oregon. And it was reported that if what's his face, Dante Moore chooses to stay, that he's okay with being the backup. So he's okay with being the new Dante Moore. And honestly, I think because I don't think he's going to play next year, for being honest, due to his injury. Hello?
I'm searching something.
I see that. So LSU's got the number 1 portal class. We're going to talk about this because they have the number 1 portal class recorded at 247, but they have the 23rd ranked class on 3. So 2 different. I mean, this is the only thing that I think that they're pretty just complete difference on, and it's how they view it. I don't think 247 takes into consideration what they lost, which on 3 does. So because they're 23rd, like from 1st to 23rd, like they've brought in a lot of dudes, but they've had to bring in a lot of dudes. And it's, if you go look at it, That's why they've got 7 wide receivers coming in. Now, I don't think Sam Levitt is, well, I guess he would be probably counted, but he hasn't signed yet, the last that I saw. I don't know if he signed now. But either way, they've definitely picked up the heat. So I'm not going to, act like they haven't. Because, yeah, they added another wide receiver yesterday. Yeah, I don't believe he signed yet.
I was hoping just to find an easy one.
What are you trying to find?
Just one of his ones from last year.
Who? Oh, Hayes Fawcett. I don't remember the transfer portal being that great. Buy more silver, Sheldon. I know. I just don't want a bunch of silver lying around my house.
Don't lie it around. It's not that. You just put it away in a safe.
Like I was when I was trying to buy stock in silver. Like when it was like heating up, I was like, I'll buy it. Like I'll play the game, but I'm not buying silver.
Well, if you don't want to buy, you know what you need to buy is silver mining. It's about to go through the roof next year from the industrial demands. I'll hook you up. I got a silver mine for you.
You got a guy? You got a silver guy?
I got a silver mine guy. Yeah.
You like Raiola to Oregon?
Yeah, I think it's a good fit. It's actually the best fit, I think, for him. You're gonna have weapons. If they can secure that offensive line, they go and get Jordan Seaton on the outside for the tackle. I mean, boy, they're cooking, spending money.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the other options for him? It was getting kind of bleak.
It was the fat was trimming up quick, man. It was kind of weird seeing how this market. Again, Sam Levitt's the only one I think he has the leverage now. Like the ball's back in his court because that just kind of shows you how thin the quarterback room was.
Yeah.
Because in my eyes, DJ Lagway, that's what happened to DJ. I think there's about 5 or 6 dudes. There's about 5 or 6 schools that were willing to pay the price, and they all went and got their guy. And then DJ's looking around, like, "Oh, you don't want to play with me?" Like, no, we're good. Yeah. We were just having you here to hang out. So thanks, no thanks. So, he's off to Baylor, but yeah, I was wondering that was going to happen to Dylan. But weird. The whole thing's weird, man. Coming into Ole Miss and flipping to Oregon, like it just kind of didn't get talked about. But it'll be interesting to see what Dante Moore. I think Dante Moore should stay another year, and because I don't think Dylan's going to play. I don't think Dylan is going to be healthy to go game 1. If anything, maybe halfway through the year. And so I think that Oregon was willing to say, "Hey, we're going to keep Dante. Dante's not going to leave." And Ty Simpson being targeted now that he has gone into the declare for the draft. I think Sam Levitt's decision is going to make a huge factor on that because if Sam Levitt does choose LSU or Tennessee, what is Miami going to do? Miami's been known to pull a guy out of the portal, out of the NFL draft before, so a Ty Simpson would be a hell of a fit for Miami. If Ty Simpson lands in Miami, they're going to be one of your early favorites.
They got to get probably a 1-year guy because Darion Coleman's not going to be ready his freshman year.
That's your guy, though.
Yeah, he's a dude. If he grows in to his body, he's gonna be guy's gonna be lights out electric.
Do we need another linebacker for depth? We have 6, 7 linebackers.
Nah, I don't think we need another linebacker right now.
And I think we signed another one, like a small one, just the other day. So they're technically 8, but I think it's the most linebackers we've had.
Yeah,
we've got a ton. So I think we're pretty set on linebacker because you've got Aaron Childs, Jaden Robinson, Miles Graham, Ty Jackson. Who else we got?
Malik Morris.
The other kid that was a 3-star last year. That's 6, right?
Johnson.
Yeah, Miles Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah. Am I missing one?
Well, there's one more from this class, isn't there? A freshman coming in.
Malik Morris.
There's another one.
I only got one. Oh yeah, Titus O'Neill's son came. Yeah, from UCF. Bullard. So now that's another linebacker. Maybe you could get one more. Possible. I don't think there's too many other positions they go after, to be quite honest with you. I think we took a look at the cornerback room. That's set. The offensive line room is 16, 17 deep. The The defensive line room is probably the only one.
Oh yeah, we lost old boy. I forgot about that.
Pup Howard.
No, the guy that bounced around up to 1,000. I don't even know where he ended up. He was like the number 1 linebacker for a while.
Oh, he went to FSU.
Williams. Was that his last name?
No, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He
Yeah.
committed like 9 different schools. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle's need an edge in DT. I think if you look at the edge room, there's a ton of bodies in there. Oh, it is. Oh, is that Williams? Is it?
Yes, Isaiah Williams. That's it.
Isaiah Williams. That's right. You're right.
I thought we circled back and got him for a second. I don't know why.
No. Tight end room, we could probably use one more. They have a guy visiting from South Alabama. So, because we lost Tony Livingston, so they're probably going to go get another guy there, which would put it at 5 if Hezzy Kent is in fact a tight end. So, we'll see how he is. Yeah, big question marks with LJ. I agree, but I don't think that you go and sign that guy if you don't think he's ready to go.
The staff wouldn't have kept him if he wasn't what everything they thought he was.
Yeah. The D line's up to like 9 or 10 dudes. There's a lot of guys back there. Because Brian Taylor, I believe he is back. Brendan Bett, Jamari Lyons, McLeod. You're bringing in Kendall Gervil. You have Brian Taylor.
Ford.
I think I've already said that.
KJ Ford's so good.
KJ Ford will be coming off that edge. LJ McCray made a play inside or outside. The England guy, Emmanuel Bruv, is coming in as well. So they've got
you got McCoy too coming in 6'6", 245.
Yeah, and he could shift in. That's a big boy.
Yep.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. He's probably gonna fill out. But I haven't seen him in person yet. But by judging his frame, like he could be like a Stephen Harris where he shows up Florida at 255.
I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what these bodies are going to look like after strength and conditioning. Like how these guys shape up after this should be a good one. Jalen Wiggins, I'm beyond excited about. Again, I think Wiggins, Cameron James, and Jaden Woods, I think are really going to set this edge room up for success more than we are realizing. And then if you add in a KJ Ford and LJ McCray into the mix as your depth pieces, you got something special there. Cameron James is a solidified edge rusher.
Well, and we're forgetting how big LJ McCray is too. I mean, 6'6", 268.
That's why he moved in last year.
Yeah, I mean he's big.
There's bodies. I think there's gonna be question marks on just the not depth, but quality of depth.
KJ Ford's my freshman of the year.
I'm gonna go Davion Gross.
Yeah, I think KJ Ford's.
I wouldn't sleep on CJ Brono too.
After what I saw on his high school film, KJ Ford's going to be more productive than Jaden Woods was last year if he stays healthy, and he gets some burn. I'm thinking he has 5-6 sacks a season.
And again, if that's what I was kind of talking about, if KJ can live up to what Jaden Woods was, Jaden Woods takes a step. Cameron James is going to be your guy. And again, those are 3 dudes. You still have Wiggins, LJ McCray, Jarayla McCoy that are in that room as well. And Kofi Asari is still there. Yep. So see what he can do. How many transfers we got? I think we had 18 transfers, I believe.
Uh, 19, I think.
19.
I can look.
Well, hey, fantastic morning show. An absolute banger on the beautiful Tuesday morning.
20,
Y'all be good.
20 transfers.
Smash the like button, subscribe. We will see you guys later on. Be good. Happy Tuesday. Peace and love, baby.
Where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist, water bringing fire.